allow things to happen within the black community. It's not.
Let me say this. Now, see, the difficulty of speaking about this subject is that there are so many factors involved. If we say is there a one-to-one correspondence between slavery and crack, we would say ostensibly no, because we say because there are different forms. The technology has advanced, the Uzis and 9WMs and so on. But there is a relationship of antipathy toward black skin and black people, and the forces of acrimony against black people directed against them, whether it's the introduction of drugs within the inner city, whether it's the self-defeating attitudes that we adopt in reflection of the nihilism, the annihilation of our own black community. But let me finish. But there's also a way in which we got to link it beyond the psychological to the economic and the political.
Sure.
When you're living in a culture that has been deprived, it's not simply a matter of morality, as if to suggest that people who are poor don't have morality. No. Right. Many people have morality. They don't have the means to make their lives any better than what they are. Let me finish. I'm not suggesting it's merely money, but money helps. What I'm talking about is an economic devastation of post-industrial inner-city communities where black people don't have the wherewithal day-to-day to make it. We have a working poor category. Most people get up in the morning, they work 9 to 5, and they still fall below the poverty level. They have the Puritan ethic. I mean, this is what the Nation of Islam has taught us as the black Puritan moral ethic. That is self-discipline, tremendous regard for the body. Although the problem with some of the ethics of self-discipline is that they become fascist. Let me tell you how they become fascist. Because they refuse to acknowledge that somebody who disagrees with me can still be a brother or sister, can still be black. Well, let me finish. Leonard Green is a black gay Republican. Some might see that as an oxymoronic statement, but there he is. Let me finish. This brother here is from the Nation of Islam. You're an independent black author.
That's what we're dealing with.
Now let me finish. Okay. And I'm a black author. I'm saying that the variety of blackness and the beauty of blackness is the fact that we all have this in common.
Yes, but we have to.
But wait a minute. What we do have to accept this morning, what we do have to, and then I'll let you speak.
Yes, ma'am.
What we do have to do this morning on our show, Our Voices, is we have to respect whatever you are as a black man and black woman. And that I will not stand for anything else. This morning we will respect each other and we will respect the differences in our conversation. It's your turn.
Okay, well, I let one thing pass, sir. It's the United States government that's bringing drugs into this country. Now, the reasons that we use them are, of course, because of the things that we have been taught in slavery and the economic conditions of today. That's why, as the president of Unity Nation, I back the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who will be bringing 1 million men, to telling them to clean up their lives, to stand up, to respect their women, to clean themselves up so that we can become a strong community, irrespective of whether we get reparations or not.
And I think we should respect that ability to do that. And I think that we should honor that, and as blacks, I don't think that we should be divisive. If black men need to get together, I don't know why black women should be upset. We should all get together and talk about it.
But see, one of the problems, I think one of the virtues of Shahrazad's book is that it tells us not to blame a Jew, to blame a Korean, to blame a Chaldean, to blame somebody else, behind every problem we have, to blame some other ethnic group without taking responsibility on the levels we are able to assume responsibility for what we are.
Let me make that a question. That's the point, brother. Let me make that a question then, because I'm in total agreement, and it's so nice to have you all in agreement for a change. I'm in total agreement with that theory. Not all of it, but just that theory. So what I am interested in asking is this. If we are in agreement that we as black Americans need to examine ourselves. We need to find out why the man isn't supporting his children, why the woman isn't taking care of that baby, why the child is going out. Then when do we get to the point where we do that? Because when you ask a black person, and I've done it as a talk show host, to examine ourselves, as Jesse says, you point a finger at someone and all of the rest are pointing back, then you're called picking on blacks, you're not understanding blacks, you're blaming the victim. I want black people to understand that when you don't feed your child, it's not Reagan or Bush or any other white man, it's you not feeding your child. So how do we get to that?
Well, you know what, but see, black people have never had an either-or attitude. That's the whole problem. See, the problem is in the analysis. The analysis would make us presume, in all respect to Leonard, is that the conservatives have a lock on the notion of self-responsibility. Self-help is the oldest tradition of self-help of helping the black community, because often we only had self to hold on to. So my point is this. So it's both taking care of those larger socio-economic structures that we have to combat, as well as personal moral responsibilities. Both and, not either or. And we've been doing it all the time.
And it takes organization to achieve those ends. Marcus Garvey started self-help. Honorable Elijah Muhammad
extended self-help. He didn't start. He extended it.
Okay, well, these were the major forerunners. of self-help in this country, but it takes organization now.
But
and fortunately, I'm part of an organizational structure that is right now reaching out to thousands of black men, and that's why I'm going to be supporting Marion Barry to also return to office.
But here's what Michael was talking about. Wait a minute, let me ask this question.
What Islam is that say we supposed, I hated to mention this, brother, that's in the book too about politics. What Islam are you following? Certainly not no teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that tell you to register and vote in the white man's political system.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in Message to the Black Man, he said if there's a black politician who is worthy and qualified, then we should support and back that politician.
He said, but there's not one. I read that.
Page 107.
That was then, and this is now. Hello, folks, I take a break.
The reality
that was then, and this is now. And the reality of the world that we live in, the reality, Scheherazade, of the world that we live in is that we must become involved in the political arena. And we must be verbal, and we must be involved. When we come back, after this break, when we come back, I want to talk about how we can get over our slave mentality and how we can begin to take a look to examine whether we are acting in a slave fashion or not. Right after this.